The Brigands' queen, Michelina De Cesare. In 1868, Italian soldiers cornered a young woman in the mountains of Basilicata. She was 19 years old, pregnant, and the most wanted criminal in southern Italy. They shot her 27 times. Even dead, they were afraid of her. Her name was Michelina De Cesare, and for 2 years she terrified an entire kingdom. Southern Italy, 1860s. The North just conquered the South. They called it unification. The South called it an invasion. Northern soldiers occupied every village. They drafted Southern men into an army they never wanted to join. They taxed farmers who had nothing left to give, and when people resisted, they burned entire towns to the ground. The official history books call this building a nation. But in the mountains of Campania, Basilicata, and Calabria, they called it war. And the people who fought back? History called them brigands, bandits, criminals. But to the people of the South, they were heroes, freedom fighters. The last defense against an occupying force. Michelina De Cesare was born in 1841 in a tiny village called Caspoli. She wasn't supposed to be a warrior. She was supposed to get married, have children, disappear into history like every other peasant girl. And at first, that's exactly what happened. She fell in love with a man named Giovanni Coppa. They planned to marry, build a simple life. But Giovanni had a problem. He refused to be drafted into the Italian army. He wouldn't fight for the North, so he ran to the mountains and joined the Brigands. The Italian government declared him an outlaw. They came for his family, burned his home, arrested his parents. And Michelina? She had a choice: stay in the village and pretend her love never existed, or follow him into the mountains and become an outlaw herself. She chose the mountains. But she didn't go as Giovanni's woman. She went as a fighter. In the mountains, Michelina transformed. She cut her hair, dressed like a man, learned to shoot better than most of the men in the brigand bands. She could ride for days without rest, navigate mountain paths in complete darkness. And she was fearless. The brigands ambushed military convoys, raided government outposts, freed political prisoners, and Michelina was always in front, not behind Giovanni, not protected, leading. The Italian newspapers couldn't believe it. A woman, fighting like this? They called her the Brigantessa, the female brigand. They wrote about her with horror and fascination. Some reports said she was more dangerous than any of the men, that she showed no mercy to captured soldiers. Others said she only killed in self-defense, that she helped feed starving villages with stolen supplies. The truth? Probably both. For 2 years, from 1866 to 1868, Michelina and Giovanni's band controlled entire regions. The Italian army sent hundreds of soldiers to hunt them down. They failed, again and again. But the Italian government couldn't let this stand. A woman making them look like fools? Unacceptable. They offered massive rewards for her capture. Dead or alive. They tortured villagers for information, executed anyone suspected of helping the brigands, and they sent their best commander, a man named Emilio Pallavicini, with one mission: kill Michelina De Cesare. Pallavicini studied her patterns, learned where she hid, where she got supplies, and on August 30th, 1868, he found her. Near the town of Pietracupa, she was pregnant, 7 months, exhausted from years of running, but she still fought. When the soldiers surrounded her position, she didn't surrender. She grabbed her rifle and fired. They shot her 27 times, and even then, according to reports, they were afraid to approach her body for several minutes, making sure she was really dead. They displayed her body in the town square as a warning. Crowds came to see the famous Brigantessa, dead at 19, pregnant with her first child. Giovanni was captured a few months later and executed. The Brigand War continued for a few more years, but it was essentially over. The North had won. And Southern Italy's story, they rewrote it. The Brigands became bandits in the history books, criminals, not rebels. And Michelina? She became a footnote, a curiosity, Oh yes, there was a woman who fought too. But here's what they don't teach you. In southern Italy, people still remember. They named streets after her, put up plaques, because Michelina De Cesare wasn't just a brigand. She was the last person who fought for a South that doesn't exist anymore. This is the untold story of southern Italy, where even in defeat, they never surrendered.